Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me again. I hope you're enjoying the whole 2 videos that I've made so far. If you are, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below and turn on notifications so you do not miss another upload from me every Wednesday and Sunday. So today's upload, my friends, is top 7 podcast recommendations for you guys to binge in 2021. Okay, let's get into it. So number 1 on my list of podcasts that I'm listening to and loving right now, and actually these are in no particular order. Number 1 is Ear Hustle. Now, Ear Hustle is a podcast all about people being incarcerated in San Quentin State Prison, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's quite a famous prison. They actually, Night Stalker, the BTK killer was there. Ed Gein, I think, went there. They have lots of the big sort of famous American serial killers went to San Quentin. So yeah, it's quite a big one. And this podcast is presented by a guy called Earlonne Woods, who was actually incarcerated in the prison. And the other person who presents the podcast is a lady called Nigel Poor. So she is a volunteer in the prison, and they take you through all of the different stories within the prison. They interview different prisoners, they interview prison guards, they just talk to people about their kind of everyday lives in prison, what they did maybe to get there, if and when they're hoping to get out. They then will deal with the people on the outside of the prison also, so the family members that are stuck on the outside trying to figure things out while this person's on the inside. Some of the people they interview as well, I mean, absolutely, truly crazy, some of these people's lives and what they've been through. And they do a couple of interviews as well with people that normally wouldn't kind of get on the mainstream prison kind of yard because of their crimes that they've committed. Some just really, really interesting, really in-depth chats with people, and the fact that it's coming direct from the prisoners and not from the prison guards or the wardens, or it's actually coming from the prisoners, so we know that it's true, we know that that's from their point of view, that's what it's like. So yeah, absolutely love Ear Hustle. Absolutely love Ear Hustle, can't recommend enough. Go and listen to it. Number 2, the Michelle Obama podcast. Now, probably like the rest of the world, I fell in love with Miss Michelle Obama when she became the First Lady. Love her, okay, I love her. So when I knew that she was doing the documentary Becoming and the book Becoming came out, I read the book, I watched the documentary and fell in love with her even more. And then when I realised she had a podcast, I was subscribed. So I did, I subscribed straight away. So glad I did. She has chats with family, friends, loved ones about how our relationships with the people that we love and the relationships with the people in our lives affect how we feel about things and about the person that we become. So how the relationships around us shape us as people. And she has an episode with Barack, so just worth listening alone to hear his beautiful voice. She'll make you feel smarter just by listening to her, which is always a bonus. Who doesn't want to feel smarter, right? Number 3, my favourite murder. Now, I love true crime, and if you love true crime or you just like podcasts in general, you would have heard of this podcast. It is one of the biggest podcasts out there, never mind just in its genre, just overall, it is just a huge podcast. It's presented by 2 ladies, Karen and Georgia, 2 friends, and they talk, as the title would suggest, about murders that happen throughout history. So again, they'll cover some of the really big ones that we all know and not love, but we all know. BTK, Zodiac, even though they never actually found the Zodiac, don't know who it is. But just imagine being like a serial killer or doing something that heinous and unforgivable your whole life, and then just getting away with it, just dying, and nobody ever knowing. They say the truth always comes out. No, it doesn't. I would definitely recommend start at the beginning. Okay, start at the beginning, because there's like 1,000,001 episodes to binge, first of all, to catch up on. And second of all, you really kind of get to know the girls, because it starts with them not really talking as much about their kind of personal everyday things. And then as the podcast goes on, they've been doing it for about 3 or 4 years now, I think. As it goes on, they discuss more about their own lives, their own childhoods, their current situations. They've both had incredibly interesting lives, had problems with drugs and alcohol and stuff in the past. And Karen is actually quite a famous comedy writer. She writes for quite a lot of American sitcoms. Her name's Karen Kilgariff. So she's absolutely brilliant. They're two just really smart, funny, you just feel like you're listening to your two best friends when you listen to them, especially if you start from the beginning and really kind of get to know them along with it. You will feel like they're your two best friends every time you listen to them. Number 4, On the Edge with Andrew Gold. Okay, now Andrew Gold is a British, it's actually the first British podcast on my list. He's a British broadcaster and TV presenter, award-winning in fact. He reminds me a little bit of Louis Theroux, in that he does those kind of, that's the sort of field that he's in. So yeah, he speaks to just an absolute variety of people. I think the first episode was actually, he speaks to a defector from the Westboro Baptist Church. So if you know the Louis Theroux documentary, The Most Hated Family in America, you will know all about the Westboro Baptist Church. If you don't know who it is, I recommend you go and watch the Louis Theroux documentary. Watch any Louis Theroux documentary, but that one will help you with this podcast. And then also listen to this episode, because then it will make a lot more sense. But he speaks to so many different people. He speaks to an ex-Hasidic Jew. He speaks to a female psychopath. He speaks to an ex-Mormon. And he also speaks to, which I didn't even think it was a real thing. I'd never heard of it. He speaks to an Australian coffin confessor. That's his job title, coffin confessor. So before you pass away, you arrange for this guy to come to your funeral and divulge some secrets. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being at one of those funerals where that happens? So it may be that he might get up and he might divulge some secrets that the person who's passed away wanted everybody to know. It might be that they knew a secret about somebody else and they want to expose them at the funeral. Can you imagine? Yeah, it's just incredible. I mean, you would have to have balls of steel to go to someone's funeral, all their friends and family, and get up and start saying things. Nope. Nope. I'd like to be there as long as it isn't about me. Then I'd like to be there. Number 5. Number 5 on my list is probably my favourite podcast, I would say. I absolutely love this podcast. It's called Radio Rental, which is English slang for mental, for those non-English people amongst you. And it is pretty mental, actually. It is presented by a really funny guy called Terry Carnation. He does all of the kind of segues in between the stories, and he's like the owner or the worker at this video rental store. And yeah, it's just really, really funny. Like sometimes the little sort of sections that he does in between, they have nothing to do with the story, but it's just hilarious. You will laugh, you will enjoy it. The premise of it is that people tell their real life stories. So it could be that there's one where a guy tells a story about how he was on a plane, and there was like the shoe bomber was on the plane. He was trying to blow up the plane by lighting a fuse in his shoe. There's another one where a guy had a time slip, so he was almost living like two kind of dual realities next to each other for like a couple of hours. And there are so many different kind of stories on there. Some are funny, some are scary, some are bizarre, some are just downright weird. But yeah, it's really good because you get like a variety. So it's not just horror or just true crime or, you know, just scam stories, whatever it is. There is something to suit everybody on this podcast. And yes, absolutely love Terry Carnation. And it's slightly nostalgic as well because he pretends like he's in a video rental store. If you're born you know, before the 90s, basically, you're going to know all about a video rentals. Please go and listen to Radio Rental. You will enjoy it. Number 6. So number 6 on my list is the Happiness Lab. I put this one on here for a little bit of relief from all of the true stories, the, you know, sometimes really heavy subjects that some of these podcasts deal with. So this one is just nice little short snippet, bite-sized pieces of really useful, practical information that you can use and take forward in your everyday daily life. It is presented by a professor from Yale University. I think she's a professor of psychology. And yep, she just gives you nice, easy, manageable size pieces of information to help you just live a more fulfilled, happier life. So one of the episodes may be about how you can make yourself happier in everyday life by stressing less, things that you can take in or out of your life to help improve it, ways to just change your mindset to make you think differently. Absolutely love it. I think it's great to kind of have these little sort of bursts of positivity and just pick me up little notes of information that you can then use and take forward into your own life, because let's face it, we're not all psychologists. We don't know these little kind of really useful, delicious morsels to just help us implement into our own life and improve things for ourselves. So definitely listen to the Happiness Lab. There's a couple of similar ones that are just there to kind of, they give you a little bite-sized piece of information of how to make your daily life happier and the people around you happier. So I mean, any of those I would recommend, but yeah, really like the Happiness Lab, and I like the logo. It's yellow and bright and fun and happy clappy. Plus I'm a Hufflepuff, so yellow. Okay, and number 7 on my list, guys, this is the last one. So this one, like a lot of them actually, is strictly over 18s. I would definitely check each individual episode before you go ahead and listen to them if you have a person of under the age of 18 in the room with you. Just because some of them, the language is quite offensive, quite strong, should I say, not offensive, strong. Some of the subject matter is very grown up. Yeah, so I would definitely say just use your discretion with these podcasts. There's obviously certain ones like the Happiness Lab. You can Michelle Obama, you can absolutely listen to any age, it's fine. But then there is other ones like On the Edge, Ear Hustle, that I would just be slightly more careful with, which also is very applicable to this last podcast. Number 7 on my list is Private Parts. Now, Private Parts is a podcast by Jamie Lang and Francis Bull from Made in Chelsea. You may know Jamie Lang from Strictly. He went to go on it, broke his ankle, then went to go back on it again. I believe he was partnered with Karen. So, yes, anyway, they read their diaries, basically. So they keep a weekly diary, both of them, and they will sit down and read their diaries with us. Now, I know that might sound a little bit like, but they're very funny. I'm sure they had a lot of it for comedic effect. I don't know how much of it is actually true. But Jamie just exposes everybody. He has absolutely no filter. He has no, maybe I shouldn't say that. They might not like it. Please just listen to the episode where he talks about his girlfriend going to the toilet, and you will know what I mean. I would kill him. I would kill him if he was my boyfriend. But yeah, they're really funny. Francis is actually a really smart guy. So he talks a lot more sense. I do actually wonder sometimes how the two of them became friends. They are so incredibly different. So different. It's just weird, but a really nice dynamic between the two of them. It's just something funny, fun, light, easygoing. You don't use any brain power to listen to it. You just very much have it on in the background while you're doing whatever you like. Alright guys, so that was my top 7 podcasts for you to binge right now in 2021. Please go on, download them. So I got them through Stitcher and Spotify. Now, Private Parts is not available on Stitcher. I couldn't find it anyway. I could only find it on Spotify. But with all of the podcasts, please just check the platform that you already use to listen to podcasts. And I'm sure you'll be able to find it on there. All on Stitcher, apart from Private Parts, which is on Spotify. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Please do let me know if you listen to any of these podcasts, what podcasts you guys are loving listening to at the moment. Please leave a comment down below so I can give them a try as well. I'm always looking for new podcasts to jump onto and binge and get addicted to. So yeah, please guys, do leave a comment down below if there's anything in particular that you are listening and loving at the moment. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. You know what to do. And yeah, please join me next Sunday for my next video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. And I'll see you soon. Enjoy binging. Bye.